This video is for entertainment purposes only. You should not try this at home or anywhere else. You could get hurt. I wanted to do a follow-up on my last video on where to hold the nunchucks for self-defense. Because I know the conventional wisdom is to hold them low to be farther away, which can be very useful. And whenever I do videos and I'm holding them higher, everybody wants to chime in and say, you're doing it wrong. You have to hold them low so that you're farther away. And they'll point to Bruce Lee, who held them down here. And that is one way. Personally, I think it's a matter of preference. And I'll get into a few things. But first of all, Bruce Lee's my idol. I absolutely love Bruce Lee. And he very well may be the best person to ever use nunchucks. But what you have to understand is those are movies that you're watching. And when he's holding them down here, he's holding rubber nunchucks. So they're way faster, for theatrical purposes than real hardwood nunchucks. And so when you're holding them low, you're giving up a little speed and quickness and surprise of attack just by its nature. I also find it more, over the course of me learning with these, a lot more bounce back with the lower grip. Now, I'm certainly an advocate and always say to swing through. But I've been hit early on in my practicing more holding them down here. The reason is the lower you hold the chucks, the harder it is to control them because you're controlling something that is longer. So not only will they not be as quick, but you could get a little more out of control than holding them up high. Now, in real life situations, if you're fighting and you're, changing hands, then you can't always control where you catch the chucks, right? So if you hit somebody and you're in a real life situation and you have it down here, well, then your second strike needs to come with you holding the grip there. So you need to kind of practice both and be nimble with both. Because in real life situation, there's no way that you could control that. And again, because these things bend, they offer you all kind of different angles to strike from. If you end up catching it here, you could strike this way. If you're in this position, you could strike here. You could catch it and come from all kind of different angles. So if I strike and I catch it here, I could turn it and come that way. And it just offers you all kind of different choices, or just come like that. So it's good to know to practice and be proficient holding the chucks in different places. But early on, when you practice, from what I've found, when you're learning to strike, you're probably going to hit yourself more with the lower grip, just because you can't control them as good, and they're a little longer to bounce around. And one of the keys is to swing through, obviously, to help out with that. And when you watch Bruce Lee, if you watch his movies, you'll actually see the nunchucks bending because they're rubber. And in many cases, the film's probably sped up a little bit. And there's even one scene in the dojo where he's fighting and his hands are empty, and then all of a sudden he's swinging nunchucks. These are movies. And in a real life situation, you probably only get one chance to swing these. And if you're ineffective, you could get tackled or punched or knocked out. So you don't really only get one chance. So for me, I prefer to hold them higher, number one, to give me more quickness and more accuracy. The higher you hold them, the easier they are to manipulate And the quicker you're going to be, the more accurate you're going to be. Now also, you can move up and down as necessary. You know, if you want to try to hit somebody from more of a distance, and it'd be very easy just to slide the hand down a little bit and then, you know, move it up and down as you're going, depending on the strike you want to make. You know, if you want to hit somebody with this end of the chucks, then you need to slide your hands up to do that. And if you want the distance, no problem. You just, you know, slide your hand more to the end and you get that more distance. So you can, you know, alter your grip as you go along. You know, I like to hold them this way so I can quick strike somebody. But you can hold them down here. It's really a matter of preference. For me, I'd rather have more speed and more accuracy. So I just want to do a little follow-up and explain that, because you know, down here you can still do like eye gouging. I don't think this strike would be as effective. And if I was to fight and punch with these and deploy them in some other way, I think it's much tougher than if you hold them more in the middle or towards the high end. That way. Also, if you're in close range and you want to kind of use the nunchucks like this, you can't do that when you're holding them low. You know, you have to be high if you want to use these ends, maybe at close range. So you couldn't do that if you were down here. You know, it's better to hold them more in the middle or towards the high end, because that way you can punch, deploy as you're backing off, follow up, you know, you can fake a punch and come around, and I think it just gives you a lot more control of the chucks. You can also bring them up way quicker than down here. Much harder. Also, you always want to be in a position to throw a second strike after you throw the first one. So if you come up under the chin and he's still coming, you can come right back down. So, like that. And, you know, if you're coming across, you can come right back around. If you're doing some sort of strike, try to come from maybe an unexpected angle back. So, you know, everybody does the underarm. If you're doing this to somebody, they're probably expecting it to come to this arm. You can come over here and then, you know, nunchucks almost always give you an opportunity to make a second strike, no matter what position you're in. For instance, if you come here and the nunchucks are hanging, you can easily have a second strike. If you're coming from this angle, you can easily have another strike, or come from, you know, even different angles with these. So if I come across, I have several choices. I can come back across the head or the elbow or something, or I can come up into the groin or the chin, or I can just simply drop down and take out a knee, take out the other knee, or I could just come up around and hit on the head like that. You can, because these are, you know, because they bend, it offers you a lot more choices than a straight stick or baseball bat. You can come from all kind of different angles, and you can easily spin them around to make a quick strike. It's very quick. And then if you get wrapped up and you're grappling with somebody, or they get a hold of you, you can come around just with a quick snap of the wrist, right? You don't even have to be in a specific position. You don't need to wind up or anything, just a quick snap of that wrist. So I just wanted to follow up and add that information. Thanks for watching.